de 50 millions de personnes vont regarder le lancement.
John, l'IBM se trompe.
Faisons vérifier les calculs par les filles.
Mes filles sont prêtes. On y arrivera.
I am Bill Barry, NASA Chief Historian.
Les Russes sont un satellite espion qui prend des photos et Dieu sait quoi encore. Mettez-nous là-haut. On ne peut pas justifier un programme spatial qui ne met rien dans l'espace.
Well, the whole production team for Hidden Figures were really excited about working with NASA to try and get the story straight and make sure they had as correct an answer as they could on every possible detail. Everything from what the parking lots looked like in 1962 at the Langley Research Center to how people talked in the script.
Nous allons envoyer un homme dans l'espace.
Si on le ramène trop tôt, il sera carbonisé dans l'atmosphère.
J'ai besoin de calculs qui n'existent pas encore. Trouvez-moi un mathématicien, avant que les Russes plantent leur drapeau en plein milieu de la Lune.
Vous avez vos papiers?
NASA, monsieur l'agent.
Eh ben, je savais pas qu'ils engageaient des...
Des femmes, il y en a beaucoup, qui travaillent au programme spatial.
This wasn't a completely radical idea. Women had been working as computers, calculating equations from the data that was presented to them. The women were incredibly good at their jobs. They were great mathematicians.
Le système de traitement de données IBM. Nous devons apprendre à le programmer. Bravo, chérie.
Il faut une calculatrice pour l'aérospatiale.
Catherine fera ça très bien. Tout ce qui est chiffres, elle en fait son affaire.
Katherine Johnson, of course, is still alive at 98 years old, and both the director of the movie, Ted Melfi, and the actress who plays Katherine Johnson, Taraji Henson, both met with Katherine Johnson and had very long discussions with her about her experience. And they also met with the family members of people who were also depicted in the movie, as well as talking to many people at NASA.
Il n'y a jamais eu de gens de couleur ici, ne me faites pas honte.
On n'a pas vidé ma corbeille.
Pardon, je ne suis pas la femme de...
Vous devriez être ingénieur.
Je suis noire et femme. Je ne vais pas envisager l'impossible.
J'ai un vaisseau spatial au-dessus de ma tête. Nous vivons l'impossible.
In the early 1960s, when the movie takes place, the United States was going through a period of change in our approach to gender and race discrimination.
Jamais là quand on vous cherche, vous disparaissez-vous comme ça.
Les toilettes pour gens de couleur sont à 1500 mètres.
Nous gravirons la montagne ensemble ou pas du tout.
It was by no means NASA was way ahead of its time, but in some aspects of life, particularly for those African American women depicted in the movie, and some other groups, it was relatively progressive.
Lui, c'est John Glenn.
Et vous faites quoi à la NASA?
Nous calculons vos trajectoires.
Sans les calculs, on n'irait pas bien loin.
Comment peux-tu tracer l'œil sur tous ces plans? Égaux en droit, ça veut dire que j'ai le droit de regarder la couleur que je veux.
Well, of course, Hidden Figures is a dramatic presentation. It's not a documentary. We see the movie as being a source of inspiration for young men and women these days, and with minorities as well. Many of the great contributions that have happened in NASA have been made by people who are immigrants or minorities or different religious groups that you might not normally associate with that the typical picture of NASA. But those people are really important and have made huge contributions, and we want to make sure that somebody who has those skills and abilities isn't kept out of a job at NASA just because of the way they look.
Colonel Glenn?
Je suis content que la NASA n'ait pas tiré un trait sur l'intelligence.
Succès semble avoir subi une défaillance.
Il y a une vraie boule de feu dehors, il fait un peu chaud d'ailleurs.
C'est le combat d'une vie, mes amis.
I've seen the movie 3 times since then in the final version, and every time I still laughed and cried because it's just a really good, exciting, and interesting movie. It tells a great story about some really interesting people who were dedicated and were able to make a huge contribution to the history of humanity.